NumPy stands for numerical Python. It is actually a most powerful package supported by Python community to carry out the day-to-day numerical operations. So the operations range from computing normal trigonometric operation, logarithmic operation, to most powerful complex operations, matrix operations. Let us explore the methods that are supported by this package and that we normally use, right? So in order to use NumPy package, you have to use a command called import followed by the package name NumPy. As is for creating an object for this particular package. See, normally if you don't use as NumPy, then what will happen? You have, for accessing every method, you have to use NumPy, NumPy dot. So since it might be lengthy, we are creating an alias for that. Normally it's an object, so np is an object, so np dot we can use thereafter. So you run, and if no errors are being thrown, it means numpy is installed on your system, or else you have to install numpy using pip install space numpy. Coming to creation of arrays, NumPy supports one-dimensional, two-dimensional, three-dimensional, up to n-dimensional array creation. These arrays are more similar to your list in Python, with the only difference that arrays consume a very little memory space when compared to your list, and hence the computation becomes quicker in arrays rather than in your what is called as a list. That's why we prefer arrays, and especially arrays is meant for integers and floating point numbers most of the time, and hence computation becomes very easier. So like how we create a list, the same way we have to create an array also. So the method available for that is array. So just np dot array of, there we have to pass the number of elements. So this is an one dimensional array, and hence one square bracket is provided. Suppose we want two dimensional array, so just we have to create like this. Okay, so how to differentiate it? Two square brackets are there. The first square bracket represents the outer list, and inside it every row will be specified by an inner list. Okay, so 1 2 3 forms the first row, 4 5 6 the second row, 7 8 9 the third row, and hence what is the structure of this array? It is 3 cross 3. Okay, so if you run this code, okay, you can see the first array 1 ARR1 is 1 2 3 4 5 6. Second array is a two-dimensional array which is represented in a array matrix format. Okay, you have. Okay. So in order to understand the different attributes of arrays, attributes in the sense properties of arrays, so many methods are provided by NumPy package. I have listed out a few for your reference. So suppose you have an object ARR2, you don't know what type it is. Is it a list or an array or a dictionary or whatever it is? You can use the type command. It states what type of object you have, right? Then the data type. So what is the data type of it is provided by dtype. The shape gives you how many number of rows and how many number of columns are supported. Size refers to total number of elements, right? So if the shape is 3 cross 3, what will be the number of elements? It is 3 into 3, which is equal to 9. It's a multiplicative product. Then item size refers to the memory that will be occupied by a single element of the array. Let's say if it is an integer array, in Python, every element, integer element, will take 32 bits, which is 4 bytes. So that is the value that will be written by item size. So ndim refers to the number of dimensions. How many number of dimensions you have in your array. Then n bytes is the total number of bytes occupied. Let's say you have a 2 cross 3 integer element. So 2 cross 3, totally 6 elements you have. And what is the size of each element? It is 4 bytes. So 6 4 24 bytes will be the result. Okay, again you execute. The type you can see, it is numpy.nd array, n dimensional array. Data type is integer, shape, and then the total size, number of elements. Item 1, each item size is 4. Total number of dimensions you have, row and a column, so it is 2. And the number of bytes is 9 elements into 4, which is 36. Okay. So let us move on to see how to create some special arrays. Special arrays, I mean some predefined arrays initialized with special values. So most of the time we may want to create an array initialized with 0. So Python provides a special function called np.zeros, right? Np is the object name, so zeros is the method name. So what you need to pass is the number of rows and the number of columns. So it should be a 5 cross 2 matrix, and the data type is integer. And what happens, it will give you an array filled with 0. Similarly, you can make an array to be filled with 1. So that is done by use of np.ones. So sometimes to perform matrix operation, we maybe need to create an identity element that is created using this I. Okay, so identity element in the sense only the diagonal elements remain 1, all other things remain 0. For each one of that you have to pass number of rows and number of columns, that's it. Then Python provides a special package called random in order to work specifically with random numbers. Those functions can be taken by those functions are accessible through numpy package also. So we have to access it using np.random.random rand. Okay, so it will create an array of size 3 cross 2 filled with values that lie between 0 and 1. Okay, suppose if you want to have values that lie till 7, you can use like this: randomized integer till 7 the values can be used, and what is the size? It is 2 comma 6. It should be a 2 cross 6 array. Now all those things are what I have printed. So just you'll run, you can see a 5 cross 2 0 array, and then 3 cross 4 once array, and an identity element, and then a random array. You can see the values are between 0 and 1, and an integer array randint randint will create an integer array. Values will be from 0 to 7. So that is the use of it. Okay, and you can create arrays not only by giving this passing the value. You can make the system to create an array of its own given the range. So that is two special functions are available. One is arange. You can see here arange, array range. Second is line space. Okay, so it is like this range. It takes 3 parameters which are similar to your range. Range normally in Python, range takes 3 parameters: start, stop, and then step. Some will start the processing from the value specified in the first parameter, and it will move on till last but one parameter. So if it is 1 comma 10, it will start with 1, move till 9 with the step value of 2. So how many values will be created? 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. That's it. Okay, so that is how you can create arrays given with specific time intervals. You are specifying the start and stop value and the interval. Okay, the number of elements that needs to be created will be calculated by the Python interpreter. In contrast to this, line space takes again 3 arguments. One first refers to the start, second refers to the stop, third refers to the number of partitions you want to have between the start and stop. So keep in mind there is one important info. In LIN space, 1 and 10 will be included as the elements. So you are going to create 50 elements. The Python interpreter is expected to create 50 numbers from 1 till 10, including both. Okay, so you can see this is the result of execution. So 1 and 10 are included. The interval will automatically be calculated by the Python interpreter. Okay, so if you use arange, interval you have to give, number of elements it will take. LIN space, number of elements you have to specify, interval it will take. Okay, slicing is a common activity that we do in almost all indexed data structures provided in Python. So given the indexes for both rows and columns, obtaining a subset of these elements is what we call as slicing. So if you have a clear understanding on this indexing, it's very simple. So in Python array, you have to just use a square bracket to embed the rows you want, followed by a comma, followed by columns you want. Okay. So let's say if I name this array as A. Okay. A of 1 comma 2 represents what is the row number I am giving? It is 1. The column number is 2. So what should be the value I should get? It should be 8. Okay. Suppose I want to retrieve elements 7 and 12. How should I give? So A of what is the row? Starting row number, it is 1 colon. What is the ending row number? If you give 2, you know the last element will not be considered. It will stop till 1. So you have to give 3. So 1 colon 3. If you give, it will take rows from 1 to 2. Comma. What is the column number I have to give? It is 1. That's it. Okay. So you can do slicing in a different ways. I have given some examples. We have created this array as per the example. Let me reduce the size and show you how we have created. Okay, suppose if we want to display only the row 2, what is the indexing of row 2? So you can see array 10 is what is the array that we refers to here. So what is the row number we want? It is 1 followed by just a colon, which means all the columns are what we are in. Similarly, if you want to access elements 7, 8, 12, 13, you can see 7, 8, 12, 13 falls in the row range. First you have to I know the row range. It starts with 1, goes till 2, so you have to write 1 colon 3. Similarly, what is the column index? It starts with 1, go till 2, so you have to write 1 colon 3 also there also. So you could see that will display 7, 8, 12, 3. So if you want all elements, no bother about it, double colon, that's all. Okay. And one important concept is about the strides. What are strides? Taking a portion of this particular array, not continuously, but with regular intervals is what we call as strides. Okay. For example, I may want to retrieve elements from these elements, let's say 6, 8 and then 10. For example, I may want to take 6, 8 and 10 alone from this. Okay, how to do? So the row number will be 1, right? So and what about the column number? The start value is 0. It should end till 5, not 4. 4 if you write, 10 will not be included, 5. And what is the step value every time? 2. Okay. So 0 plus 2 it will display 8, plus 2 it will display 10. That's it. Suppose if you want to have elements 6, 8, 10, 16, 18, 20. So how should the row goes on? Row should start with 1, stop till 4. Yes. Start value is 1, stop value is 4. And then what is the range? We don't want this particular row indexed with 2, and hence you have to have the step value as 2. Okay. So that's all. The column value remains same and you can get strides. Okay. So this concept will be normally used in image processing, which is nothing but the masking, right? So if you want to hide certain elements and want to display only few elements, you can create mask. Okay. Suppose here if you take this np.array, I have created an array from containing elements 1 to 9, and I am going to display only the prime numbers, right? So 0 if you put, that element will be discarded and the elements with 1 alone will be created. Okay, retained in the array. So I'm creating a mask. If you apply a mask over that, you can see only the prime numbers gets printed. Okay. And all the scalar operations are possible. So these are some more methods. You can have sum, product, minimum, maximum, mean, variance, standard deviation, average, and then weighted average. Weighted average is a little different in the sense that not all the attributes will correspond in the same proportion to the result. For example, if you have 5 subjects or 6 subjects on your 12th standard, name it English, Tamil, Maths, Physics, Chemistry, and then Biology. For entering into engineering, you might be the marks in maths, physics, chemistry alone is enough, not other marks are considered. So the weightage given to other things will be very low when compared to the weightage. So that you can create. It's a multiplicative property that we want to insist on the values of the attributes. So that can be created by using this weighted average. So weights is equal to, you can assign the weights to them. Okay, and axis equal to 1 here refers to attributes. So these weights has to be applied to the columns. Okay, so if you want to insist on certain uses, let's say if a product is going to be released on the market, it's not always that all the customers will be um, customers opinion will be treated in the same way. Okay, some customers opinion will be given weightage based on some reason or other. In such case, axis equal should be equal to 0. Okay, so what happens, the weights will be applied to the entities, not for the columns. That way we can think of using it. So all scalar operations are possible. You can add up arrays, find the difference, product, and all the arithmetic operations. So you can find the quotient, remainder, and you can even apply the power operator. Okay, and the relational operations are also possible. You can check whether both the arrays are equal, not equal, less than or equal to, greater than or equal to, in a simple way. And similarly, your trigonometric and logarithmic operations are very simply can be done using this. To an array, you can as such calculate. So the other packages in other programming language may support the same functionality, but to a single element. But here it is being performed over a set of elements, right? So vector element operations, I'm asking you to do. So three basic vector operations that people are using normally. One is inner product, second one is outer product, and third one is dot product. Okay, so those three are the basic operations which you can try of your own, and these are the basic methods that are available in NumPy. A lot more is there. These are the operations that we normally use in day-to-day environment. Hope you enjoyed this tutorial. For any doubts, you can write to me. Thank you.